Chapter 393, Corpse Spirit. This was not a match on a level at all. Kang Chon's eyes revealed unprecedented gravity. The crisis in front of him was deadly enough. If they weren't careful, all three of them would fall here today. Kid, Old Me feels that this skeleton is somewhat familiar. If Old Me's not wrong, he is most likely the dawn-breaking scattered immortal. At this moment, Emperor Don's voice resounded in his mind. Instantly, Kang Chia was stunned, and his entire body instantly fell into a stupor. A Dawnbreaker scattered immortal. How was that possible? Looking at the skeleton in front of him, Kang Chia really couldn't connect it to the Dawn-breaking scattered immortal. It didn't seem to make sense in any way. However, there was no need for Emperor Dan to lie to him. In fact, when Kang Chon's trio came in, the skeleton on the stone chair was also sizing up Kang Chon's trio at the moment, and a hint of a strange color gradually appeared in its icy eyes. "Brother, big deal, we'll fight it out." Little Gold took out that king-grade treasure weapon, his eyes revealing a shocking battle intent. With the king-grade treasure weapon, we may not be without a chance. If we really can't, you should break through the divine separation stage first, with your talent. Even if you can't defeat a combined body stage Seal King powerhouse. But it won't be easy for him to kill you. Van Din also took out a king-grade treasure weapon and said in a condensed voice, "Alright, if I really can't, I'll break through the divine separation stage." Kang Chia nodded his head, incomparably calm, as his hand flashed with bloodlight, and a blood knife with a murderous aura appeared. However, just as they were about to make their move, the skeleton on the stone chair finally stood up, and instantly, a huge might enveloped them. "It's been 3,000 years. I, Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal, have finally waited for you all." An old and joyful voice resounded throughout the palace. The skeleton sitting on the stone chair violently stood up, a pair of green and ghostly eyes eerily looking down at the Kang Chia trio below. The entire dark palace was instantly filled with a majestic aura, and that powerful sense of oppression came over them, causing Kang Chon's trio to feel a wave of suffocation. The skeleton stood proudly with its arms folded, gazing coldly at Kang Chia. "I didn't think that I, Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal, would be able to see Kang Chon's overbearing blood again. Truly the heavens have eyes, ha ha ha." The skeleton did not speak, but his voice traveled throughout the entire dark palace. Kang Chon's three faces changed instantly. Dawn-breaking scattered immortal. This was really the dawn-breaking scattered immortal. Just why had the dawn-breaking scattered immortal become like this? Doubts filled the hearts of the Kang Chia trio as they listened carefully while being cautiously vigilant. It seemed like the dawn-breaking scattered immortal hadn't spoken for a long time. And after he laughed loudly for a moment, he once again looked down at the Kang Chia trio and said with a smile, "You guys must be very strange, right? In fact, this immortal did not deceive you all before. I did die, only that before I died, I performed the corpse turning technique, which could turn my corpse into a zombie. Then I squared my life's memories into the memory crystals, and when I turned into a zombie, I absorbed the memories in the memory crystals, and that's how I became what I am now. To be precise, I'm not a Dawnbreak Scattered Immortal. I'm just a corpse spirit born from the corpse of a Dawnbreak Scattered Immortal. But because of the Dawnbreak Scattered Immortal's arrangement, it made me have the memories of a Dawnbreak Scattered Immortal. The Dawn Diffusion Immortal... does not. It was the corpse spirit that laughed. I see. Dan Huang's voice came from his mind. The three Kang Chia people were suddenly enlightened. Just now they were shocked and thought that it was really the Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal that had been resurrected. However, whether the corpse spirit in front of them was a Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal or not, Kang Chon's trio couldn't tell the difference, as this was the first time they had seen this situation, and they could only say that it was an alien. Incorrect. You said that the Dawnbreaker Scattered Immortal had performed the corpse turning technique. So it should be a zombie. So why have you become like this? Brahma Heart suddenly asked. Kang Chia froze and immediately looked at Corpse Spirit with a frown. Corpse Spirit smiled at his words and said, "The little monk is quite smart. This is also something I'm about to prepare to tell you. I will become like this now. It is related to the death of the Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal." The three of them, Kang Chia, immediately stared at what he said, and they were also very curious as to how the dawn-breaking Scattered Immortal died. One must know that the Scattered Immortals were unimaginably powerful, and were almost immortal existences on the Flood continent. The Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal died in a very strange way. I'm not too sure about the specific memories. It seems that the Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal intentionally wiped out this memory, so I don't know much. The Corpse Spirit frowned and continued, "I vaguely remember that back then, the dawn-breaking diffuse immortal found a treasure in a relic, and that treasure was so terrifying that he only lightly touched it, and his soul automatically burned, and he couldn't extinguish it no matter how. And in the end, he used his diffuse immortal Gai Shai cultivation to slow down the burning of his soul's fire, and took advantage of this time to perform the transmutation of the Corpse Grand technique. That's all I can know, his death, and that treasure can't be unrelated, but unfortunately, I'm not clear about the location of that treasure." The Corpse Spirit shook his head and laughed bitterly, even though a skeleton laughed bitterly in a very frightening manner. Kang Chon's three people were dumbfounded at his words. Zijin's eyes were wide with incredulity as he said, "A dang loose immortal died in such a suffocating manner just because he touched a treasure. Is that thing really a treasure? To be able to kill a loose immortal? It's not simple. No wonder the Broken Dawn loose immortal is so suffocated. This death is too wrongful. I wonder what the treasure that killed him was." Brahma's heart was also very curious. They finally understood why Broken Dawn's Scattered Immortal was so stifled. A generation of Scattered Immortals fell like this. I'm afraid that even if he didn't die, he would still be infuriated. I'm curious, why did the Broken Dawn Scattered Immortal create you? Kang Chia suddenly calmed down and coldly gazed at Corpse Spirit. There was no way he would believe the other party just because of Corpse Spirit's one-sided words. Perhaps he was unwilling to do so, hoping to use me to probe the reason for his fall. Or perhaps he was afraid of death and wished to live in a different way. At least, I have all the memories of the dawn-breaking Scattered Immortal, and other than this skeletal body and the gap in cultivation, we are not that different. The Corpse Spirit said indifferently, "Then what will be the test of this third level?" Brahma Heart opened his mouth at this time and asked. Kang Chia and Zijin all stared at Corpse Spirit with a grave expression. The Corpse Spirit opened its green eyes and looked at Brahma Din, suddenly smiling. "The test of the third level is very simple. As long as you kill me, the inheritance of the Dawnbreaker Scattered Immortal will be yours. On the contrary, on the contrary, you will take over me and gain a new life, right?" Before the Corpse Spirit finished speaking, Kang Chia coldly interrupted. From the first moment he entered the palace, he had seen the flickering fiery light in the Corpse Spirit's eyes. And up until now, the Corpse Spirit's divine sense had locked onto him tightly. Even if Kang Chia was stupid, he knew the Corpse Spirit's purpose. A skeleton body had no future, even though this skeleton body was the skeleton of a loose immortal. At most, it could only exert the strength of a harmonization stage Seal King, and never make the slightest progress again. Wanting to obtain a higher level of power, the Corpse Spirit had no other path than taking over the body. What's more, the talents of Kang Chia, Zijin, and Fan Din were placed there. Whichever one he casually seized, his future achievements would be unlimited. Of course, in the Corpse Spirit's eyes, Kang Chia, who possessed the Kang Chia hegemony blood, was undoubtedly the best candidate to seize the body. Listening to Kang Chon's cold words, the Corpse Spirit revealed a hint of a smile in his eyes, as he said appreciatively, Your kid guessed right. If you can't kill me, you guys will have to die. TSK, Kangxia hegemony blood. Once I take over you, after 1,000 years, no one in the entire Flood continent will ever be my opponent again. Even immortal artifacts can't defeat a Kangxia hegemony blood at the Mahayana stage, haha. Brahma Heart and Little Gold's faces changed, their eyes suddenly gloomy. Are you sure you can kill us? Kangxia raised the blood knife in his hand and gazed coldly at the corpse spirit. A heavenly battle intent that swept through the entire Dark Palace. Fan Din and Little Gold stood on either side of Kangxia, staring at corpse spirit with a wary expression. The corpse spirit was also coldly gazing at the Kangxia trio below at this moment. The atmosphere in the arena was immediately tense. The Dark Palace was suddenly silent, and a huge sense of oppression rose in the hearts of everyone. Ha ha! Soon after, the corpse spirit suddenly laughed softly. He then said in a cold voice, worthy of being Kangxia's overbearing blood. It is indeed overbearing enough, but since the dawn-breaking scattered immortal created me, then I have no choice. Only one side between us can survive.